Ramos in for his first major league save. He'd here 1 for 8 in the series. Runner goes, line to right field. Stanton in, won't get it in, gets by him. And Figgins is going to score. And just like that, the game is tied 4-4. You got Jamie Wright and Jeff Baker with the game on the line. And Echeverria at third base. To right, it's well hit. Back goes Puig at the wall. Ball game! Baker wins it. Marlins walk off. Puig couldn't grab it.
Celebrate as much as you want. It was a great series.
Glorious day in Miami. Such a nice day that as we arrive in Marlins Park for the Mets and the Marlins, a 3-game series. The roof, she is wide open for a night game. Very nice in May. David Wright and the Mets are here for 3. Giancarlo Stanton and the Fish are red hot right now. And, of course, the hero, Jeff Baker. What a thrilling series that was against the Los Angeles Dodgers. And what a treat to have the roof open tonight and to have you with us, Rich Waltz, along with Tommy Hutton. Let's start with Giancarlo Stanton. He was a focal point yesterday in that win over the Dodgers.
Well, right now, Giancarlo just has to continue the streak he's been on, especially hitting at home. Giancarlo, 6-game hitting streak. He's 8 for 23. 3 home runs, hitting .348. Look at the RBI totals. That leads the major leagues. He has been on some kind of tear, hitting .385, runners in scoring position. That's been the impressive thing to us. The home runs are great. We love to see him. But he's been driving in runs with base hits, not necessarily all home runs. So he continues to hit well at home and drive in big runs.
But on this run, the Marlins have used starting pitching as a fuel. Jose Fernandez yesterday, hey, he's player of the month. And Nathan Eovaldi's not far behind him. He's starting to creep into the national conversation.
It's fun to watch Eovaldi all of a sudden incorporate. Actually, let me use this. He's evolving as a pitcher. He's using the slider, some curveballs, but he also has that 96, 98 mile an hour fastball every once in a while just to freeze a hitter.
All right, our Chevron starters not only include Eovaldi, the Mets starters are very good, and Jonathan Neese is one of them.
He's been on a nice run. He's given up just 1 run over his last 3 starts in each of those starts. A left-hander the Marlins have seen many times.
The bullpen, that's a question mark for the Fish. When we return, the state of the bullpen address from Craig and Niner. the New York Mets. Who comes behind Eovaldi? That would be the bullpen. The questions are there. Let's get some answers. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine.
All right, the answers I think are coming, and you see as the season's going on that Mike Redmond's trying to find out his pieces here, which can take some time. What are you noticing with the pen of late?
Well, they're very young out there in that pen, and I think what Mike Redmond's trying to find out is where he's going to start slotting these guys, and it's going to be based on performance. Yes, there were some hiccups early in the season. They lost some games late in that first road trip, especially during that 8-game losing streak, but there's some great arms out there, and I think they're starting to pitch much better right now.
Steve Cishek is available tonight after pitching the first 3 of the series against the Dodgers. The one intriguing name everybody's hearing about as you look at the state of the bullpen. Overall numbers a little shaky from a number standpoint, but I think they're going to be solidified. And one intriguing name everybody's talking about is Carter Capps, Jeff.
Yeah, you look at these numbers, which while they don't look very good, I think they were all magnified during that 8-game losing streak. The bullpen gave up a lot of big runs in that losing streak, but Carter Capps the other night, he comes in and is blowing 101 miles an hour on the gun with a very unorthodox delivery, and if he can keep it in the strike zone, he's going to be a very interesting character to watch.
And he's a guy that Mike Redmond told me today you expect to see in some more crucial spots as the Marlins want to test him and see what they have. It's very intriguing, the guy they picked up in the Lomo deal with Seattle. But game 1's coming up. The Marlins starters doing a fine job. It's the Mets and the Fish. Miami 5-1 on the homestand so far with 3 more to go. Game 1 next.
Let's go places by AT&T Uverse TV. Check availability. 1-800-PICK-AT&T. Rethink possible. By Checkers. Visit your local Checkers for the $2 shrimp and fries box. How about your South Florida Honda dealer and sfhondadealers.com. For a night game in early May, the roof is open and the weather is absolutely gorgeous. Low humidity here in Miami. Hallelujah. As the Marlins and the Mets play. And on Cinco de Mayo, here come the Mets. Eric Young is in left field. Daniel Murphy is at second base. David Wright is at third. Curtis Granderson in center. Bobby Abreu, yes, Bobby Abreu is in right field. Lucas Duda is at first. Travis d'Arnaud will do the catching. Omar Quintanilla, a terrific name on Cinco de Mayo. He's at shortstop. And Jonathan Neese will do the pitching. Happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody out there. Pitch a Penny brings you the first pitch. Nathan Eovaldi getting set. Eric Young, Daniel Murphy, David Wright for the Mets, who won yesterday 5-1. And Eovaldi, a knee-high strike, buzzes in at 95 miles an hour.
Rich, in a similar fashion, the Marlins pitchers, Nathan Eovaldi tonight, are going to have to really concentrate on keeping Eric Young Jr. off the bases. They tried to do that with D. Gordon. Not a whole lot of success, but Eric Young Jr. with 12 stolen bases, he's been caught just one time.
D. Gordon had 9 hits in the series against the Marlins, and it was mayhem on the bases whenever he got out there. Young, a slicing bouncer. Echeverria quickly to first. That's Jeff Baker over there tonight, and Eovaldi gets a quick out to open the ball game.
And as you check on that defense for the Marlins tonight, you'll see some changes. Reed Johnson with the start. He's in left. Yelich moves over to play center. We just listen to the music. Stanton in right. You can see it. I don't have to tell you. The mariachis sound great. Here come the chips and margaritas.
Make mine without salt. Here's Murphy now. Daniel Murphy takes inside. Now the Mets come into this ballgame at 16-14. The Marlins are 16-15. And if you look at just raw numbers, how the Mets are doing it, Murphy gets into that one, drives it right field and deep and gone. Wow. Daniel Murphy's first homer of the season. And it's a solo shot, upper tank.
Wow, that was a no-doubter. 2 home runs Eovaldi has allowed this year. Remember that first one by Alexei Amarista. Pitch down and in, just perfect in his wheelhouse for his swing, and deep into that second deck in the home run porch.
Just about to say that the Mets slugging percentage and power numbers are way down, and Murphy goes out and blasts his first home run. And here's David Wright. And Wright takes down low. The Mets lost 3 of 4 at Coors Field to the Rockies.
Well, to give you an example, for the Mets, that was their 19th home run this year. The Marlins have hit 33.
Eovaldi's fastball is fouled back. Now Eovaldi didn't face the Mets up in New York. Marlins didn't see Jonathan Neese. So even though the Marlins and the Mets just saw each other about over a week ago, neither team has seen the starting pitcher for a while. Wright has not had a big year power-wise. You can see just the 1 home run. He's got 5 doubles. And Eovaldi strikes him out. So a ground out, a home run, and a strikeout. Here comes Granderson.
Good to see Eovaldi come back and make some quality pitches to get a real good hitter, and a good pitch there to get right. Number of people, I know people have asked you the same thing, Rich, about the ball traveling with the roof closed or with the roof open.
Granderson, wow, right field. That one's going to travel. Another upper tank. And Eovaldi, who had given up just 1 home run in 6 starts, has given up 2 here in the first inning.
And right now, I'd say the ball's traveling pretty well with the roof open.
For Granderson, his 3rd home run.
Oddly enough, the Mets have a number of players who are hitting better on the road. Same pitch, almost the same area that Daniel Murphy got. Fastball down, in, to a couple of really good low fastball hitters. The one to Murphy was 97 miles an hour, and the one to Granderson was 95.
Well, Terry Collins took a couple of right-handed bats that were really hot coming out of Colorado out of his lineup in Juan Lagares and Chris Young. And Eovaldi misses outside.
And I think with that, of course, Saltalamacchia realizes it. He's going to have to try to get the guys off the fastball with maybe a few more changeups from Eovaldi, and certainly that curveball and slider.
Marlins saw Abreu up in New York. Abreu out of the game last year. Had a nice start in AAA for the Mets. They were starved for some offense. Adds obviously a veteran presence. A broken bat. McGee on to first. The Mets hit 2 home run porch shots to open up the ball game and open up the series. Daniel Murphy. Then Curtis Granderson, and it's 2-0. The Mets certainly have a bounce in their step after the top of the first. A couple of long solo homers, Daniel Murphy and Curtis Granderson. And there's your shot of the open roof. It's 79 degrees. Look how low the humidity is. And a little bit of a wind, but nothing too drastic. Jonathan Nice on the mound. Christian Yelich takes a fastball up. And Lucas, Giancarlo Stanton will follow as Miami tries to get to Jonathan Nice. As good as Eovaldi has been his last 3 starts, Nice has been terrific his last 3 starts.
Yeah, those last 3 starts, Rich, he's gone 6 or more innings and given up just 1 run in each of those games. You can see his ERAs there, 2-2 record. And no stranger to the Marlins. He's started 13 games in his career against the Marlins, and he's 3-5. It's only his 2nd start here, though, Marlins Park.
He's part of a surprisingly good rotation without the young star Matt Harvey. The rotation with Bartolo Colon and Nice have been very, very good. Breaking ball and a called 3rd strike. Now goes Yelich. You got Dylan G in that rotation. He's been outstanding this year as well. Marlins lineup. You've seen Yelich. Here comes Lucas, Giancarlo Stanton, and Casey McGee, Jared Saltalamacchia, Jeff Baker, Reed Johnson, Danny Echeverria, and Nathan Eovaldi. On a Cinco de Mayo, Nice misses down low.
Yeah, those games in New York, all close games. Marlins lost 4-3. They won 7-6 in 10 innings, and then lost 4-0. One thing about Nice, he doesn't waste any time out there either.
Lucas getting the start, much like Terry Collins adjusted his lineup for the right-hander Eovaldi. Mike Redmond adjusts his lineup for Jonathan Nice. An opportunity to get right-handed bats in, and as well an opportunity to give some guys a day off. Marcell Ozuna, the guy that Redmond wanted to get just a night to settle down and get some rest. You might see later in the series some other regulars get a night off. Giancarlo Stanton hasn't had a day off either. Tough to take him out, though, the way he's been swinging the bat.
That's a tough one, and we've talked about the fact the Marlins are in a stretch of 20 consecutive games.
Nice misses high, and Ed Lucas walks. And here comes Stanton now. The Mets do it with a starting rotation and one of the best defenses in baseball.
Mets have committed just 15 errors this year. E.Y. Jr., Granderson, and Abreu in that outfield. David Wright and Quintanilla on the left side. Murphy and Duda on the right side. Travis d'Arnaud, the catcher behind the plate. Yeah, defensively, they've done a nice job.
And so here is Stanton, 2 homers yesterday. And he takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Some nice success Giancarlo's had against Jonathan Nice. 7 for 18 with a couple of home runs.
Nice comes in. Stanton yesterday went out to right field. A 2-run shot early against Stephen Fife. And then a line drive solo shot to left. I'm sure Stanton received votes, but the Player of the Month in the National League, Troy Tulowitzki, and it's hard to argue with Tulowitzki and the numbers that he put up.
Tough to argue that one. Rocky shortstop leading the league right now, hitting 400. Just behind Stanton in the RBI department. Off to a tremendous start. Rockies just need to keep him healthy.
Now, if you did not hear the news, Jose Fernandez is the pitcher of the month. Good at bat by Stanton. He works the count down to 3-2. So pitcher of the month for Jose. Sonny Gray of the Athletics, well deserving American League pitcher of the month, and Jose Abreu of the White Sox, the rookie, the player of the month in the American League. That's strike 3 call. Nice strikes out Stanton.
A couple of called third strikes. The one to Yelich, a breaking ball. The one to Stanton. Let's see if it catches corner or if it's that might be low and inside. Wow, that's a call. You tip your cap, say okay, got the call that time.
Pitch number
but
6.
It's frustrating when you go up there and you have a plan and you have a good at bat. You take that pitch because it was a ball.
So here's McGee with Lucas at first. And Nice gets a strike. Now McGee has faced Nice 7 times. He's 1 for 7 against him. Daniel Murphy hit his first home run of the season. Casey McGee still without a home run, but with 20 RBIs. And in this series, McGee has hit the wall on 3 occasions. And so he's hit the ball plenty far enough to get it out of most ballparks. But right now he'll settle for the 9 doubles and the 20 RBIs. 2 outs, Lucas at first.
One thing you can see, no problem with Jonathan Nice trying to work inside. And he does that with that cut fastball. Believe it or not, this is the first time the Mets have played here at Marlins Park with the roof open.
3-1 to McGee. Jared Saltalamacchia is on deck. Nice has been a durable part of the Mets rotation for the past 4 years. Ground ball, base hit, left field. McGee with a 2-out single, and that brings Saltalamacchia up.
Very hard thing to do, Rich, and the Marlins have to really reach back tonight. After that series against the Dodgers, the way the games went, and especially the way that the team won the game yesterday, then to come back, less energy in the crowd, not as big a crowd, and all of a sudden to come back your first AB, you're down 2 already with the solo home runs the Mets hit. So Marlins are going to have to reach back a little bit tonight.
Saltalamacchia now against Nice. Saltalamacchia, the switch hitter, versus lefties, hitting .320. Got jammed. Abreu in right is there, and he makes the catch. And so Nice is through a scoreless first. 2 homers for the Mets and a 2-0 lead.
Está disponible por TAP.
In Miami, the Marlins trying to cap off what has been a terrific homestand so far. But the Mets aren't cooperating in game 1 of a 3-game set. Solo homers, 2 mammoth ones from guys that haven't had big home run years. Daniel Murphy and Curtis Granderson. Lucas Duda, who has 4 homers. Travis d'Arnaud and Omar Quintanilla for the Mets. And Duda gets his first crack at Nathan Eovaldi. Duda winning the first base job for the Mets. Ike Davis dealt to the Pirates. Duda for the last couple of years kind of had to wander through the outfield for playing time, with Davis getting most of the reps at first base.
So far it seems to have been a good choice by the Mets. Ike Davis hitting 190 for the Pirates, just 8 hits. Did have a big grand slam for Pittsburgh.
Eovaldi with the breaking ball. And a 2-2 pitch coming to Duda, who hits very well on the road as opposed to at Citi Field. Swing and a miss.
That's a good slider. And all of a sudden, if Nate Eovaldi shows that he's going to go with that, get that over regularly, then that fastball becomes a better weapon. That was just a good pitch there.
Here now is d'Arnaud, who the Marlins saw in the series in New York. Got up to the big leagues at the end of last year. Acquired from the Blue Jays in the R.A. Dickey trade. And he takes a fastball for a strike.
Yeah, we talked about Terry Collins making some adjustments. His 2 catchers are both right-handed hitters, Anthony Recker and d'Arnaud.
Well, he's throwing it a lot more here in the second inning. The breaking ball gives him a pair of strikeouts this inning, 3 in the ball game.
It's almost like a fighter might get knocked down in the first round.
Tomorrow night, Marlins and Mets. It's a half-price Tuesday night. Half-price tickets in several premium seating categories. Go to the Miami Herald on Tuesday or El Nuevo Herald. Get your 2 for Tuesday half-price coupon. The Marlins and the Mets tomorrow night. Bartolo Colon and Henderson Alvarez. Here is Omar Quintanilla.
Another colorful matchup. Yeah, my analogy to the fighter, that fighter gets knocked down in the first round, and all of a sudden he might have to change things up a little bit. Go with a few more jabs. So, Eovaldi knocked down a little bit, giving up a couple of home runs, just changes things up and comes back with a nice 1-2-3 inning.
Ground ball out from Quintanilla. 2-0 Mets. For the Mets, AT&T fan photo. We invite you to tweet yours to hashtag FLFanPhoto. It's a chance to have it shown on the telecast. It's the AT&T fan photo. Let me take a selfie.
That could be it right there.
Maybe not.
Yeah, do the selfie. You have to make sure you get the field, maybe the home run sculpture in the background.
Or Joe Madden. Did you see that selfie?
Yes,
I think it was in Boston. Just Joe Madden photo bombing a selfie. Here's Jeff Baker, Reed Johnson, Adeiny Echeverria against Jonathan Neese. And he misses outside. Now Baker and Johnson, a couple of right-handed bats that have a history against Neese. Baker 6 for 12, Johnson 7 for 18. So Mike Redmond calling upon the veteran right-handed bats. And for Baker, a big moment certainly yesterday to finish the ball game, driving a ball to the wall, sending Yasiel Puig crashing into the wall. Puig and the ball arrived at the same time, and they seemingly both hit the warning track at the same time. Baker sprays this one Murphy's way. And there's one out. Here's another look at that AB from Baker.
Well, he got a cutter or a slider and really went with it well. Great effort by Yasiel Puig. He crashed on that warning track. He walked off, but you and I both look, he is not in the lineup tonight for the Dodgers. I'm sure it's a day-to-day thing. He's banged up, I'm sure. But great bit of hitting by Baker off Jamie Wright.
Concussion test for Puig negative. That's a strike. Reed Johnson shakes his head a bit. You can hear the Marlins dugout chirp with Echeverria to follow. And that one was low. I think they're still smarting over that pitch A called strike 3 to Stanton, which was low and in. 1-1 to Johnson, who's had certainly a nice start with the fish. As a pinch hitter, spot starter.
And another guy who's had success against John Neese. There's a scouting report on the left-hander. It's not 91 to 97. That's a mistake. He's 91 tops. He's 87 to 91. Big slow curve. And pretty good hitter when he gets the bat in his hands. Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
When I tell him tomorrow that we had him at 91, 97 in the scouting report, he'll like that.
Yeah, he will. We'll tell him our mistake was in his favor.
It's like saying you and I are 6'4". We'll take it.
Yeah, Reed Johnson, another who has had some success against Neese.
2-2 coming. Brett Butler, nice play. Roof is open, rolling windows are open. It's kind of a gentle breeze that's blowing around Marlins Park tonight. And a changeup. Neese, you can see why he's on a nice roll. He's got good command. He's changed location and he's changed speeds quite well.
He's a guy that if you talk to those who follow the Mets, wonder why he doesn't win more games. The good changeup, he has good stuff, decent fastball, he pitches in and out, curveball, he'll drop that in once in a while.
Well, maybe if the Mets scored him some more runs. Mets are not a great offensive team this year.
His best year was 2012. He won 13 games. He was 13-9.
Etch drives one into center field, hits it well. Granderson picks it up. Echeverria, a big turn. And Danny Echeverria continues to have a nice year. That base hit will push him right at 300.
Take his hitting streak to 7 games. And again, stays inside the ball really well. And no chance for Quintanilla. That ball was hit hard up the middle.
Here now, Eovaldi. And Nathan takes a rip. Echeverria just wants to make sure he doesn't get picked off with Eovaldi at the plate and 2 outs here in the bottom of the second.
A couple of hits this year for Nathan.
And it's 2-1. Count evens at 2-2. Mets will run out Bartolo Colon and Zach Wheeler the next 2 nights. Marlins going with Henderson Alvarez and Tom Kohler. And Eovaldi has pushed the count to 3-2. There's Yelich on deck. Echeverria on the move. And Eovaldi hits a bouncer. Murphy backhands in the dirt. Just in time to get Eovaldi. That was a close play at first base. But Neese has battled his way through 2 scoreless innings. 2-0 New York. Let's check in with Craig Minervini.
Hey, Rich, thank you very much. Had a chance today to go along with some Marlins players over to some of the elementary schools they'll be visiting all week. It's part of the Marlins Think Tank program. We went over to Cooper City Elementary, where the kids are doing some nice projects on a variety of subjects and baseball, part of the Marlins Ayudan project. And one kid not only up on his schoolwork, but the Marlins too.
So Jeff Baker hit a walk-off double, injured Yasiel Puig. Giancarlo Stanton hit 2 home runs.
Jose pitched, right?
Jose pitched. He was really good. What else?
And it was a lot of fun to watch that win.
Yeah,
That's
it was.
pretty good. Give him a hand. Good job. That's a kid named Josh, 4th grader, who he was rattling off the stats. And by the way, the class very into the Marlins. Had a lot of fun with Casey McGee, also Jeff Mathis in the group we went with, and Derek Dietrich did a great job talking to the class. And a lot of fun, the Marlins with their Think Tank program. They'll be doing it all week long at some of the schools that were selected. Guys?
All right, terrific to see that with the Marlins in school. Jonathan Neese, Eric Young Jr., then Daniel Murphy against Nathan Eovaldi in the 3rd. Strike 3 called. Neese goes down. Now Eovaldi's got 4 strikeouts, but the Mets have hit 2 solo homers. Murphy and Granderson from the 1st.
Well, since that second home run, Nathan Eovaldi's retired 5 in a row, 3 of those by strikeouts.
Here is Young, who was hit in the eye in a batting cage accident and actually had to be taken to the hospital for observation. He's got a bruise under his eye.
Yeah, the Mets coming from a 4-game series against the Rockies in Denver. They salvaged the last game. They won 5-1 yesterday. Dylan G with a nice outing.
Probably a very familiar place to Eric Young Jr. His father spent many years as a Rocky, and of course E.Y. Jr. was a draft pick of the Rockies. Counts 0-2. Braves and Cardinals opening a series tonight in Atlanta. The Braves swept by the Giants. Did I see the note where the Giants swept the series and did not get a hit with a runner in scoring position?
Wow. It was the first time the Giants had swept a 3-game series in Atlanta since 1988 also. That's hard to do. Not getting a hit with runners in scoring position.
A lot of home runs.
Home runs, good pitching.
Broken bat over Eovaldi. Echeverria, terrific play.
That is just beautiful.
Flying from his shortstop spot, Echeverria swoops in to get a speedy runner.
He has to reach down, pick, and fire all in one motion, knowing that Eric Young Jr. can fly. The throw had something on it. He got a nice little stretch from Baker, and that's a terrific play.
Now Murphy, who pumped one into the upper tank. Chuck Hernandez, Marlins pitching coach, will join us in the bottom of the 3rd, so he's coming up. We could talk certainly about Eovaldi's start. Jose Fernandez, pitcher of the month in the National League. And I'm sure a few bullpen questions as well. If you were here for Marlins Live, Jeff Conine, Craig Minervini talking about the Marlins bullpen. The Fish still trying to find the right combination in the 7th and the 8th inning. Murphy lines it foul. So home run number 1 for Murphy. His was down the line, whereas Granderson's was a little further out towards center field. And probably traveled a greater distance. Jammed him with the slider. Lucas to Baker to get the out. 7 straight set down by Eovaldi. We'll visit with Chuck when we get back. Solo homers, 2-0, and the bottom of the third we go down to the Marlins dugout. Chuck Hernandez, Marlins pitching coach in his second year. Chuck, how are you?
Great. How are you guys doing tonight?
On a gorgeous night, doing quite well. You got. First of all, let's start with the news of the day. Jose Fernandez, pitcher of the month in the month of April. A terrific honor in a month that there were a lot of great starters. Had some really big months.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there's a lot of good pitching going on.
Yelich with a base hit.
Had a baby. Yeah, there's a lot of guys having off to a good start. Jose's one of them, and I guess they gave him the award, which is well deserved.
You can see the numbers for Jose: 4-1 with a 1.59 ERA.
Chuck, back to Jose with the game yesterday. He left with the lead. He did not get the win, but what did you see in his game yesterday? He walked 4, which was a little out of character for him.
Yeah, he actually pitched around 1 or 2 guys, so yeah, a couple 2-out walks, which are a little uncustomary for him for sure, but you know, he is human, he's young, and more often than not he throws enough strikes to be pretty successful.
Nathan Eovaldi tonight, surprised by a couple home runs in the first. He'd given up just 1 all year.
Yeah, you know, they just jumped a couple fastballs on him early. Murph's a great hitter, and he got his barrel down on ball down and in, and we just kind of missed the location with Granderson, and you know, he got one too. So, but I like the way he's throwing the ball still.
He's made a nice comeback. I mean, he's used the slider. Looked like he's thrown a couple change-ups. He's made a nice comeback after the home runs.
Yeah, I mean, Nathan's been, you know, what I'm really impressed by him is his consistency is improving. You know, not only fastball command, but all the secondary pitches are around the plate better, and the quality of them are all improving. So he's still, you know, heading upward.
Sometimes, Chuck, for pitchers to carry what they do in the spring into the season when they have great springs is not easy, but Tom Kohler has done that. He really has had a fabulous start for you.
Yeah, and he has, you know, and I think he gained a lot of confidence from last year. You know, early on he struggled, but you know, he's such a tough-minded kid. He keeps working hard at it, and he started to have a little success last year, and that just kind of led into this year. In the spring, he came in more determined, knew he belonged here, and knew he could get a job done, and just got about his work, you know. So, you know, we're pleased with the start he's off to, and you know, he's another one of the 5 that continue to find ways to improve.
Chuck, how difficult is it to work with guys in the bullpen, relief pitchers who aren't on like a regular starters rotation? How difficult is it to get them to get some work in and work on things?
Well, it is, it's a little bit of a challenge, and you have to definitely monitor that, we might need you tonight. So we do some stuff pregame a lot of times with guys, especially with guys having a little struggle. We might kind of pick a day and just say, we're not going to use him tonight, and get some work done in the bullpen prior to. But, kind of the way the weekend went, and last week we're not fortunate enough to have that luxury right now. They're all live, and yeah, it's it's a daily bit, a little bit of a grind. But once we get the season going and we kind of solidify our roles out there, then I think things will start to come together for us.
All right, Chuck. Giancarlo stands up. We don't mind if you take cover here.
I'm gonna stay low. I'm okay right now behind the screen low, but if he hits the line drive, we're gonna have trouble.
Well, if he hits a home run, we want you to call it. But
yeah.
Carter Capps is a name that not a lot of people were thinking about when the season started, but his stuff has been eye-popping.
Yeah, and we knew that was in his game. We'd seen that. A great job by our scouting staff, and DJ and Mike Hill, targeting the guy that had some great stuff. And just last year, had a little struggle up in Seattle and changed a few things. And so we're kind of trying to get him back to who he was maybe a year and a half ago. And it looks like we're heading in the right direction with that.
It looks like Mike Dunn has done that too, heading in the right direction.
Yeah. Dunner, although early in the year he gave up some runs, it wasn't the quality of how he's throwing the ball. He's still to me one of the better left-handed setup men in this business, at least in our league. We don't see the whole American League that well, but I really wasn't over concerned even early on this year. I know there's a couple pitches that he'd like to have back, obviously, but he was throwing the ball well, was coming out of his hand well. He just missed a couple spots, and when you're a reliever early on, you give up a couple runs, it looks like you're not doing things right. But just missed it.
Just missed that one. And EY is there. All right, final question for you. The rotation's been terrific. Steve Cishek at the back end's been good. How do you guys sort out your 6th, 7th, 8th inning guys, or does that sort itself out?
Well, the more you play, the more we'll be able to sort things out. The games kind of dictate for us because, we've had to rebuild our bullpen a little bit, and that's okay. But we're trying to find the right pieces to put in the right places. And every day that goes by, you learn a little bit more about some of the new ones that we have out there. And we'll try to slot them in the best spot possible to make them successful.
You've done a terrific job this year and last year. We appreciate you taking time out and visiting with us, Chuck.
Thank you. It's always nice visiting with you guys, especially on a beautiful roof open night in Miami.
Yep, very nice. All right, Chuck Hernandez, pitching coach of the Marlins. Jonathan Neese. Casey McGee lifts one to right field, hits it pretty well, but Bobby Abreu is there and makes the catch. The Marlins have seen the best of Jonathan Neese so far. in the first against Nathan Eovaldi. All-Star voting has started. You can vote at Marlins.com for your favorite Marlins. And if you vote the maximum 25 times, you'll receive 4 free Marlin tickets for just $20. And, of course, the All-Star game is on Fox July 15th from Target Field in Minneapolis. David Wright, Curtis Granderson, Bobby Abreu for the Mets, who just came from Colorado. Winners yesterday 5-1, leading here 2-0.
Well, it was a time last year, Rich, that Nathan Eovaldi would throw 80% fastballs, and he's well under that tonight. Lots of good sliders, and it's a pitch, that and the curveball. Because he's worked on them, he's starting to get more confidence in throwing that pitch.
Out of the reach of Stanton. Of course, the Marlins and the Mets meeting up in New York. A weekend series. Marlins got the middle game on that Jared Saltalamacchia 10th inning home run on the Saturday night. But they were tight games. Friday, the Mets a 4-3 walk-off win, rallying to beat the Marlins and stopped Steve Cishek's consecutive games saved streak. And then on Sunday, the Mets shut out the Marlins 4-0 behind Dylan G. Dylan G now 3-1, an ERA of 2.5 for the Mets. Baker, that's out of reach.
David Wright does that with the best of them. He'll get that good fastball and a, not a good pitch to hit, but it's a 3-2 pitch, and he'll just fight it off and foul it off.
Hit hard and by McGee and down the line. And David Wright is going to open up the fourth with a double. Fox Sports Florida proud to introduce the all-new Miami Marlins Fan Express first-class coach bus, VIP seating. Look how much fun that is, Tommy. You can email groups at marlins.com or call 305-480-2523 for more information on how you and your friends could travel in style to see the Marlins at Marlins Park.
Passed the bus yesterday going home after the game.
Where was the bus going?
It was going north on the turnpike.
One of the early storylines for the Mets, the struggles of Curtis Granderson, but he pumped one way up into the upper deck for a solo homer in the first. And he smacks that one into right field. That's a base hit right to third. He'll hold. Stanton got it quickly. Baker cuts the throw, and the Mets are in business here. A right double, a Granderson single at the corners for Bobby Abreu.
Well, it's amazing. You have guys who've been struggling. Murphy not struggling, but homered for the first time. You have Granderson, who is hitting below 200, and he's 2 for 2 with a home run. And you add into the mix the leadoff double by David Wright.
Now Abreu, as veteran a hitter as you'll find across the landscape of baseball. He homered against Kevin Slowey in that series. He's the first 40-year-old Met to homer since Gary Sheffield did it in 2009 on his way out.
Yeah, he didn't even play last year, but he played winter ball in Venezuela. And the Mets hitting coach, Dave Hudgens, was his manager. He was down there, and he tore it up. Bobby Abreu tore up the lead.
Breaking ball in, and Eovaldi has worked himself into a jam here. Behind in the count 2-0. Abreu just 13 at bats so far this year. Well, he was tearing it up in Las Vegas too. Though that's a bit of a change I would expect from the Venezuelan Winter League. He was hitting .395 in Las Vegas. Smacks it to left. Johnson, good jump, got there, makes the catch. His throw will be cut. Granderson holds first. Wright scores, and the Mets stretch their lead. And a sacrifice fly from Abreu. Actually, a sacrifice line drive.
Yeah, that'll go on the scorebook as a line drive. He did the job, as you said, one of the best professional hitters, just solid hitters for a long time, and he's done a lot of damage against the Marlins too over his career.
There's Lucas Duda. That is kind of how the Mets have been able to get their runs this year. A couple hits, sacrifice fly, not a big slugging percentage. But in the first inning, they flexed their muscles with a couple of home runs. Duda struck out in the second.
Well, an opportunity for Nathan Eovaldi to get out of this inning after the first and third nobody out situation without a whole lot of damage, because if he can get Duda, he has Darno's up next. He made him look bad, struck him out his first time up.
Duda going after the sharp slider. 0-2. Not sure who said it, but you could hear somebody on the field yell heads up as that one screamed into the seats.
Well, it could have been Duda, could have been Saltalamacchia. On the leg, he's going to feel like Jose Fernandez after taking that line drive.
Stephen Fife took one yesterday
Fife
as
too,
well.
Yeah. We can say he has something in common with the National League Pitcher of the Month.
It almost hit that guy. I don't recognize him at all.
He used to be a pretty good catcher with the Mets. Had pretty good power.
No, that's not LaDuca.
Hey, good to see Mike Piazza. Mike makes his home in South Florida. A Marlin for 5 games.
That's right. Duda gets into that one, drives it right center. Stanton is there, makes the catch. Granderson got all the way to second, hustles back. Good job of tracking that by Stanton.
Boy, that's a nice play in a key situation too, because Duda, you saw Eovaldi try to get him inside with sliders. Well, he came out over the plate, and Duda was able to extend. Stanton tracked it down on the warning track. Good jump and a nice play.
Travis d'Arnaud now.
Wonder how Piazza got those good seats.
Must know somebody. I bet you he's still got Jay Horowitz in his cell phone.
Long-time media relations director of the Mets.
Jay Horowitz, beloved throughout baseball, but also known as one of the all-time butt dialers. Many people have received phone calls late at night, apparently, from Jay He's sitting on his phone. But one of our good friends and always treats us quite well.
Always a big help to us in New York.
Absolutely. In fact, he may be Mr. Met. Two and one. There's Jay.
He's checking to see if Piazza got those seats.
See? He's thorough. Probably wondering, why am I on TV?
Yeah, he said, what in the heck are those two guys talking about me for? What are they saying?
d'Arnaud battling Eovaldi.
This time d'Arnaud is not chasing that slider away. That's how Eovaldi got him the first time up.
Granderson on the move. Struck him out. And so Eovaldi gets d'Arnaud, but the Mets get another run. Leadoff double by David Wright. Bobby Abreu chases him home. Top Cinco de Mayo. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Yes, it is Cinco de Mayo, and the Bud Light girls are here. The Lime-A-Rita is the big hit tonight. What is in a Lime-A-Rita? Do you know, by chance?
Well, I'm not quite sure, but I know a lot of people kind of like them because they're sweet. It's kind of like a cocktail drink. I like them personally because they have 8% alcohol and they have nice flavors, strawberry, mango.
Very popular here at the Budweiser bar out here. You had a present for me? Did you? Okay, go ahead. Get in the festive spirit. Very important, right?
Yes, very.
Why is Cinco de Mayo such a big holiday?
You should probably ask her. She's the Mexican.
Oh, you're from Russia.
Yeah, no.
No, your Russian name is what?
It's Nudoshka.
Nudoshka. All right. It's a big holiday. It actually started in the western U.S. in the 1860s.
They actually celebrate it a lot more here, the Mexicans in the American community, more than we do in Mexico.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe just a celebration for us to party here.
It's a good excuse, and I'll tell you what, kind of show them the crowd here because there's a big crowd here celebrating Cinco de Mayo with the Marlins and watching the game and enjoying the, what is it again?
Cinco de Mayo?
Lime-A-Rita.
And Lime-A-Rita.
Or strawberry, guys. Which would you prefer? Back to you.
Craig gets all the good assignments.
The senoritas and the Lime Arena.
And the Saltalamacchias.
We have watched, and I'm sure the hitters have done the same thing, but we've watched Jonathan Neese. What he's done really well tonight, makes the curveball a little bit, but he's pitched in. He's tied up a lot of hitters.
Saltalamacchias center field. A lot of room out there. And Granderson runs it down. The Marlins have had a base runner in every inning. They had 2 in the first, a hit in the second, a hit in the third. Neese has an out here in the fourth. Jeff Baker, Reed Johnson coming up.
Well, we talked earlier about Jonathan Neese and how over his last 3 starts he's gone 6 or more innings and allowed just 1 run in each of those starts. So he's been on a nice roll.
Miami's approach, and it's worked quite well in this ballpark, in this homestand, is to think away, to think for the right-handed hitters especially, middle and right field. That's up the middle. Quintanilla gets the out. And it looked like Neese, especially the first time around, was adjusting to that and was pounding everybody inside. Major League Baseball on Fox Sports 1 this Saturday doubleheader. Dodgers Giants, one of the great rivalries in all of baseball. And then you've got the Indians, Terry Francona, Joe Madden matching up the Indians and the Rays in prime time at 7 Eastern. Fox Sports 1, your home for Saturday Major League Baseball. Reed Johnson to right, hit it too hard. Abreu was there and he makes the catch, and that was a quick inning for Jonathan Neese. 9 pitches worth. Of Nathan Eovaldi and the Marlins. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. Eovaldi working against 8-9-1. If you just happen by this ball game, the Mets jumped on Eovaldi in the first, 2 solo homers. And they were majestic shots from a couple of left-handed bats. Daniel Murphy, Curtis Granderson, both went into the home run porch in right field.
Yeah, that guy, Daniel Murphy, who always seems to get hits against the Marlins.
Quintanilla from El Paso, Texas, and a star at the University of Texas. Has hung in the big leagues with a variety of teams. Was a utility guy for the Rockies for 5 years, Rangers, Orioles, and now the Mets.
Oh, the Mets young shortstop Ruben Tejada hitting 192, so not off to a solid start.
Mets getting some pop in Colorado from Juan Lagares, who's finally back, and a nice young piece in center field. And Chris Young all of a sudden is starting to heat up a little bit.
Well, it's interesting, and it shows you what Terry Collins wanted to do against Eovaldi. Young on a 6-game hitting streak. Lagares had 3 hits in Denver. He's on a 13-game hitting streak, but had a hamstring issue. Number one, he just wanted to rest him a little bit. But number two, he said Eovaldi eats up right-handers, and I wanted to change the lineup up a little bit. So with Eovaldi out there, he's got a couple of big hitters on the bench.
2-2 is fouled out of play.
But so far, it hasn't affected the Mets.
Well, right-handers against Eovaldi this year, just 127. Lefties, and it's held true tonight, 325. And all 3 home runs that Eovaldi's given up this season to left-handed bats, including the 2 tonight. Johnson has to go back, and he reaches up and makes the catch. Quintanilla hit that a long ways.
Couple of things to think about, Rich. With the roof open tonight, you get a little different carry with the ball. And for the last few games, the Marlins have been used to playing with it closed. Obviously playing shallow with Quintanilla up there, and that ball traveled, I'm sure, further than Johnson thought it would, but he made a nice recovery.
Now Nice. Toyota trend. Mets pitchers still looking for their first hit of the season. That's really hard to believe.
It's a historic start. Look at that, the previous record. St. Louis Browns.
Marlins pitchers have 9 hits.
I mean, as soon as one of their pitchers gets a hit, they're going to ask for the ball.
They're going to send that ball to Cooperstown.
Yeah. Because I'm sure when it happened with the St. Louis Browns, they didn't send the ball to Cooperstown.
No, they sent the Browns. Where'd they send the Browns? Somewhere. Breaking ball misses low and in. He swings and misses.
Keeps the streak alive.
Everything starts tomorrow night, 6:30. Get ready for Bartolo Colon and Henderson Alvarez. Emails and tweets. And it's brought to you by your South Florida Honda dealers. Marlins Live. Eric Young Jr. The St. Louis Browns are now the Baltimore Orioles. That's a fair ball. Johnson up with it. Young thinking double, but Johnson was there. And EY Jr. aboard with a base hit. Just kind of slapped that one down the line.
Got that real high bounce. And with McGee playing in a little bit, ball bounced over his head. Good job by Reed Johnson because of his positioning, and he got to the ball quickly. He kept Young at first, but I would imagine he's not going to think about staying there too long, especially with 2 out.
throw to first. You know, I suspected that they were the Orioles. I went to go double check, but I did not realize, just in looking at their long past, going back to the 1890s, they originated in Milwaukee as the Brewers, then moved to St. Louis, played for 50 years as the St. Louis Browns
through 53.
In 1901, they moved from Milwaukee to St. Louis, trading one beer for another. On to first in time, and Murphy is out. 3-0 Mets. On top. Marlins at Mets. Remember, Wednesday is not a televised game, but you can use the Crazy 8's ticket offer to get yourself in. Purchase $8 of gas at any Chevron location. Get an $8 bullpen or $18 home plate box tickets for the Marlins and Mets. 12:40 start on Wednesday. Danny Echeverria.
No, he didn't.
And he takes up Nathan Eovaldi. And then top of the order, Christian Yelich.
We always talk, and we have over the years, about Jonathan Neese coming from the same high school in Defiance, Ohio. Same high school as Chad Billingsley, who's recovering from surgery with the Dodgers, trying to get back on track.
The one thing about Neese, and you talked about the cut fastballs, he's got the good breaking ball and changeup, is that he challenges you with his stuff.
Yeah, and as we pointed out, his stuff isn't 95, but he cuts a fastball. He keeps you honest. He'll throw that changeup away to righties. He'll drop in the curve. And he really has tied up a number of hitters tonight. Going back to Stanton's last at bat, he tied him up on a 3-0 pitch.
Well, he watches the highlights. He saw Stanton take a ball on the outside part and hit it 420 feet yesterday. And Echeverria swings and foul tips it into the glove of d'Arnaud. And Neese records his 5th strikeout.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. I think if the scouting report, and it's gotten out, that the Marlins, certainly at home, are driving a lot of balls the other way, not trying to pull too many pitches. So if that's the case, opposing pitchers are going to try to work hitters inside. So now it's time for the Marlins to adjust a little bit.
Eovaldi, and Nice drops it and kicks it, and Eovaldi is safe.
And a great job by Nathan Eovaldi. Once he saw Nice grab the ball, he still went pretty hard. If he slows up, and by the time he does that, he's still going. And now Nice can't pick it up, and Eovaldi's safe on the error by Jonathan Nice.
You can see the back of Nice's neck turn bright red with anger. And that brings up Yelich with Lucas behind him, and Eovaldi's at first. So the door opens a little bit. Marlins have nudged it open a few times, but each time they have, Nice has shut it closed. Yelich, a gorgeous bunt between Nice and Lucas Duda for a hit.
Remember, there was a little concern last year. A struggle for Christian Yelich against lefties. He hit below 200. But you know what? With his bunt single, this year he's 11 for 31. That's over 340 against lefties.
Up the middle, Quintanilla flips, and out at second is Eovaldi.
And that's just a tough break because he hit that ball well off the left-hander. Good job by Quintanilla. Keeps the glove down. The ball came up on him a little bit, but he stayed right with it and then turned it over to Murphy. Eovaldi going in straight, hard with that leg. Good slide, but the ball just beat him.
Lucas now has walked and struck out. Hits it in the air to center. Granderson back and now in, and Jonathan Nice has baffled the fish for 5 innings here tonight in Miami. Brought to you by Bluebell Ice Cream, celebrating National Ice Cream Month in July. Try our newest flavor, Rock Slide Brownie, and celebrate with us today. And by your South Florida Chevy dealer. Roof is open in Miami tonight. Met fans have made it out. Mets in town. Their first visit to Marlins Park here in 2014. Mike Piazza. Let me take a selfie, Mike. Wait a minute, a selfie and an autograph. Mike's just trying to buy a beer. Wright fouls another pitch back. For the Mets tonight, couple home runs early. First inning shots, Daniel Murphy, Curtis Granderson, Bobby Abreu, a sacrifice fly. Driving home David Wright, who doubled. That was in the fourth. Down goes Wright. Eovaldi has a strikeout pitch going. I mean, he's starting to rack up the strikeouts, but the home runs very much unlike him. He'd given up just one in his 6 previous starts going into this one.
I'll tell you the other thing he's done really well, and he's continued so tonight. 7 strikeouts, no walks. So on the year for Nate Eovaldi, 42 strikeouts, just 5 walks.
Granderson blasted one up into that home run porch, just like Murphy back in the first inning. Granderson asked if that pitch was a strike, and home plate umpire Bill Miller said yes, and then he said, but it was close though, huh? And it was.
Yeah, he talked about Granderson, even though he had just 2 home runs coming into the game. We were talking about it in New York. He's a guy who 2011, 2012 had 40 home runs back-to-back years.
Eovaldi gets another one. Granderson turned and said, well, that one was out, but he still swung at it.
Well, once again, the theme for Nathan Eovaldi is not getting much support. 8 strikeouts now.
5 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned. Abreu knocked in the 3rd with his sacrifice fly in the 4th. That's why that last start for Eovaldi was a real outlier in terms of his career. Miami scored 9 runs for him. And you see where he is in terms of best run support.
Yeah, and I think that kind of throws that off.
It does.
That 9-run game.
Since he entered the big leagues, no starter has had less run support than he has. Next on that list is another familiar name, Josh Johnson.
Well, if you just look at his record at home in this ballpark in his career, he has an ERA of 3.24, 19 starts. That's going down a little bit tonight, but he's only 5-9. So that's just typical of the issues that he does a good job at not letting them really get to him. Some pitchers would.
0-2 and a bouncer. Lucas goes to get the hop and gets the out. A 1-2-3 6th for Eovaldi. Mets in control right now, 3-0. Giancarlo Stanton takes a breaking ball for a strike from Jonathan Neese, and it's Jonathan Neese making the Marlins cry tonight. Stanton is 0 for 2. Gets his hands through there, drives it to left. Young with a dive and a catch.
Boy, he has tied Stanton up all night. Couldn't quite muscle that one enough. And a great jump and effort by Eric Young Jr. Eat wide Jr. Lays out. Nice landing. And hangs on.
Casey McGee now. We appreciate the mariachi band that has been out near the production truck since early this afternoon when the crew arrived, getting everybody in the festive Cinco de Mayo mood. And I don't know about you, but every time I hear that music and see the hats, all I can think of is Alfredo Amezaga.
Oh, yeah. The mariachi's tip jar is overflowing.
The most memorable Cinco de Mayo in Marlins history was probably 2007 when Luis Gonzalez was a member of the Marlins. And Gonzalez, at the end of his major league career, but one of the all-time great guys and pranksters and fun guys in the game, actually paid the Marlins clubhouse guy, Dom, to decorate the entire clubhouse in a Cinco de Mayo theme, and Dom dressed up for the occasion. And Gonzo paid for the whole thing. He not only paid for all the decorations, but he paid Dom to dress up.
And Dom looked good, too.
McGee battling, 0-2 pitch. Gonzo was behind a lot of things that year. He was behind the tremendous rookie hazing incident in New York.
That was one of the better ones.
Yes. There were so many rookies in 06, nobody went through it. But Gonzo in 07, strike 3 called. Down goes McGee. Gonzo took all the 06 rookies, all the 07 rookies, and in New York at Old Shea Stadium had them all dress up in different costumes and then made them all ride the subway back into Manhattan.
Times Square.
Get out at Times Square and then walk about 5 or 6 blocks to their hotel on I believe it was a Saturday afternoon. And there were, I want to say there were between 13 and 15 rookies that were all dressed up in a variety of costumes.
They had Ricky Nolasco and Josh Johnson.
Well, Nolasco was dressed up as the Burger King, and Gonzo made him go into McDonald's and order dinner. That one pulled foul. Dan Uggla, Scott Olson. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jared Saltalamacchia, 0 for 2. Jonathan Neese is cruising. A 3-hit shutout right now. One of the things Saltalamacchia, and you've pointed out, has done quite well this year, is when he's not hitting, he's taking pitches. His on-base percentage coming in over 400. So he has flied out twice tonight. Popped up. Murphy out. Granderson in. It's Granderson who makes the catch and presents it to Murphy. This great homestand on the road with them. We'll see in San Diego for 4 against the Padres, Dodger Stadium, and a Dodger dog, Yasiel Puig, and the Dodgers for 3. What a great series that was this weekend. Then it's up the road into the Bay, AT&T Park, maybe the most beautiful park in all of baseball. Marlins and Giants, and that's a 4-game series in San Francisco.
Today you talk about 3 beautiful venues: Petco, Dodger Stadium, and AT&T.
East meets West. In fact, the Dodgers are in D.C. tonight to meet the Nationals.
They're in a rain delay right now.
Bottom of the 4th, 2-0. Nationals on top of the Dodgers. That's a Zach Greinke start against Jordan Zimmerman. Zimmerman's been terrific. Looks like he's perfect. Or no, excuse me. He's throwing a shutout through 4. And Greinke obviously has given up a couple of runs. Baldy hasn't thrown a lot of that changeup much tonight. He's relied on the breaking ball against lefties. Anthony Rendon has hit his 5th home run. Big due to went. And Greg Gibson says he went. Evaldi now. The strikeouts piling up. His 9th. But he'd like to have that first inning to do over again. Daniel Murphy, Curtis Granderson hitting home runs, solo shots, mammoth shots. Bobby Abreu sac fly in the 4th. And that's all the scoring on the night.
Outside.
I would have guessed more, Rich, but a career high 9 strikeouts for Nathan Eovaldi.
Quintanilla waiting on deck, 3-0 to Travis d'Arnaud. And Eovaldi misses down low. Now, we dug deep. We were talking about Gonzo and his influence on Cinco de Mayo and that historic trip. There they are. They're the costumes. There's the Rat, Dan Uggla, JJ, Hermida, Chris Volstad. Very nice. And the subway smells so good.
John Baker.
Times Square. We'll trip down memory lane. May have another one a little later that has a closer time to Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, now Eovaldi's going to have to get back at it. First walk of the game, walking d'Arnaud.
Eovaldi's ERA has climbed to 2.82 with the 3 runs he's given up. Nice's ERA has shrunk below 2, 1.86. If the Mets can get this starting pitching the rest of the year, then Terry Collins is going to have them 500 or above, because as we've pointed out, many people tell us in the game no one squeezes more out of their team than Terry Collins does. Pitches up and in. Offensively challenged are the Mets right now, but in their starting rotation, Colon has been a slow starter, but Nice terrific. Dylan G outstanding. Henry Mejia is 3-0.
All of a sudden, a little bit of struggle with that breaking ball now for Eovaldi, and Chuck Hernandez gets on the phone. Derek Collins, too, has a lot of respect. I know in our conversations with him, a lot of respect for what the Marlins have done this year, too.
(3-2) to Quintanilla, and he fouls it into the glove of Saltalamacchia. So here comes Nice. If you're watching the telecast from home, get on the web. Like the Marlins on Facebook. Follow on Twitter. Keep you up to date. All the stats, scores, latest news surrounding your favorite Florida sports teams. Fox Sports Florida social media. Nice takes a breaking ball, lifts it to left. Johnson makes the catch. 7th inning stretch. All Mets and Jonathan Nice tonight. Presents their rewind, and tonight it's Cinco de Mayo, so we figured we would show you the Amezaga play, the amazing Amezaga play. On his face, from his stomach, from the Mexican League, of course. And if he had a better second baseman, they would have had the double play. Can't believe this. I think he caught the second baseman by surprise, Tommy. Because there's no way he suspected that Amezaga was going to do this.
That's a no-look behind the back pass, too.
Into center field, Becker with a solid single.
And a new center fielder for the Mets. Lagares goes into play center, moving Granderson over to right, so Bobby Abreu comes out of the game. But Juan Lagares just picks up that defense, makes it much better in the outfield. He's a terrific center fielder. And Granderson a little more comfortable in right field now.
Baker with a hit. Reed Johnson, Echeverria to follow. Marlins have mustered just 4 hits, all of them singles against Nice. That video of Amezaga, it took probably 2 months for us to track that down once we heard of the play. And as it turned out, it was Amezaga's father that had it on a DVD. A chopper right in foul territory. And to bring Johnson back to the plate.
And also somewhere tonight on this Cinco de Mayo, Jorge Cantu is enjoying himself somewhere. Maybe with Alfredo Amezaga.
The way we unearthed that play, we were talking to, I don't know if it was Ryan Spilborghs, but someone who had played.
It was Spilborghs.
Okay.
Who was here doing some TV work with the Rockies.
And we were talking about Amezaga, and he asked, "Have you?" Boy, he made a play that was the most unbelievable play we've ever seen, and that got us thinking. Well, I wonder if it's on tape anywhere. And after countless phone calls and trips across the border trying to find the shot, Obregon in Mexico was the name of the team. We finally got it from a ESPN Deportes telecast that was on a DVD that his dad had.
Well, the Marlins trying to capitalize on a leadoff base hit by Jeff Baker.
You know, it's a night where if you would say Nathan Eovaldi was going to strike out 10 and walk 1 and still be in the game in the 7th, you'd be thinking, hey, the Marlins are up 3-0.
Yeah,
but
you'd feel pretty good.
It's the Mets with those 2 early home runs, Granderson and Murphy, that have the lead.
And Baker's leadoff base hit, only the second time the Marlins have had the leadoff man on tonight.
Johnson stays alive, bounces it off d'Arnaud.
Never notice how many good battles Reed Johnson gives a pitcher.
In the right, that's a base hit. And a terrific at bat by Johnson. So Baker and Johnson, whose career numbers helped get him in the lineup against Nice, have led off the bottom of the 7th with hits here tonight.
Well, Baker came into the game 6 for 12 against Nice, and he's 1 for 3 tonight. Reed Johnson came into the game 7 for 18 against Nice. Daniel Murphy went up knowing he wasn't going to catch that line drive and almost was trying to give a decoy as if he caught it and was going to turn a double play.
Dan Warren, the pitching coach of the Mets, is out to talk to Nice. So the Mets bullpen is in action. Marlins bullpen is in action because the pitcher spot is due up next. You've got Echeverria. Marcelo Zuna right now has emerged on deck.
Well, and with this lineup, it gives Mike Redmond, you mentioned Ozuna, he's over there on the bench. Garrett Jones, Derek Dietrich from the left side are over there.
Echeverria, a solid single to center, and he struck out. Nice has punched out 6. He's walked 1, and now has given up 5 hits.
First time the Marlins fans have had anything to cheer about tonight.
Last 10 games, Echeverria on a lot of those hits to center and to right center. He's looking for win number 3.
He had a good pitch to hit. In fact, the curveball kind of stayed up a little bit. Nice got away with one.
Roof wide open tonight on a glorious night in Miami. Low humidity, a very pleasant evening. First time the Mets have played in this ballpark with the roof open.
I would not have guessed that. The Mets, of course, over the last 2+ years now have been here so often. I would have guessed they had at least played one game with the roof open. I can't remember a more beautiful night, though.
Edge just got a piece of the fastball. And Nice, when he throws the breaking ball, making sure it's in enough that all Edge can do is pull it foul. D'Arnaud out to talk to the lefty. 103 pitches for Nice. Marlins trying to get to the Mets bullpen. And with the pitch count up and with 2 runners on, they're close. Echeverria center field, hit it well. Lagares is there and he makes the catch. Good at bat and a line drive for out number 1. As promised earlier in the game, AT&T fan photos coming. Hashtag FL fan photo. It's your chance to be part of the telecast. It's brought to you by AT&T. Now this is the kind of fan photo we like, Tommy Hutton.
Oh yeah.
From Ryan. U.S. Army. Tip of the cap to you. A camouflage selfie. Ozuna against Nice. Breaking ball for a strike. It's 0-1. All 3 balls here in the 7th inning barreled up and hit hard. Terry Collins hoping that his lefty can get through this, the 7th inning. And if he gets Ozuna and he's out in front 0-2, he gets a left-handed hitter in Yelich.
Well, that last pitch to Ozuna is what he's been doing a lot tonight. Good cut fastball, hard fastball on the inner part of the plate. Then something soft, his curveball. So he's really mixed it up extremely well.
Inning open with Baker and Johnson lining singles into the outfield. Echeverria lined out to center. Ozuna cracks one on the ground to short. Quintanilla, Murphy's turn on the mark. And Jonathan Nice puts together 7 shutout innings in Miami tonight.
Wow, we saw some long ball early on in the first inning. The Mets broke it out. Daniel Murphy with his first home run of the year, and it was a taser shot into that second deck, the home run porch. Granderson found that area as well for Granderson, his 3rd of the year. Nathan Eovaldi, though, really settled down and pitched well after that. Was using the slider, his curveball tonight, the changeup. Eovaldi in his 7 innings finished with a career high 10 strikeouts. The problem is that Jonathan Nice has mixed it up very well. Fastball's up. He's tied a lot of hitters up. He's run his cutter inside. A few curveballs, some changeups. So Ozuna stays in the game. Yelich moves over to left field. Reed Johnson comes out, and Marcell Ozuna stays in center field. And the new pitcher, the left-hander, Brad Hand.
And takes over. Eovaldi struck out a career-high 10 and walked just 1. With the 2 home runs and a sac fly for Bobby Abreu, 3 runs for the Mets. Top of the order, Eric Young Jr., Daniel Murphy, David Wright against Hand. McGee smothered it and gets the out.
But just like that, last inning, the Marlins with first and second and nobody out. And it didn't take many pitches after 1 out, then a double play. A well-hit ball by Echeverria for the first out. And then the double play, 6-4-3.
Now Murphy, the Jacksonville product, who homered in the first. And he takes a strike. Mets are here for 3. Remember, Wednesday's game is not on television, and it's a 12:40 start. Marlins will fly after the ball game to San Diego and get right to it with the Padres Thursday night, late night with the Fish.
Tentatively, it looks like Jose Fernandez will pitch the Friday night game, second game of that series. If I remember, Jose had a pretty good game in San Diego last year.
Which would put him in line to start the final game of the Dodgers series. And then he would miss the Giants. Murphy cranks one right field deep. Stanton is there and he makes the catch. 2 outs from Brad Hand here in the 8th. Marlins.com is the place to go. News, tickets, highlights, sweepstakes, Tommy Hutton's bio, merchandise, all of that, the coolest new gear for the Marlins and Major League Baseball. And you can purchase your tickets as well. Marlins.com, the place to go. Here's David Wright, who was struck out twice and doubled. Still delayed in Washington, with the Nationals beating Zach Greinke and the Dodgers 2-0. Other National League East teams, the Phillies are at home. The Blue Jays have come calling. Chopper in the hole. Etch. No chance to get right, who beats out an infield hit. Toronto leads the Phillies 3-0, top 7. Good hustle by Wright. Second hit for the Mets captain and third baseman.
Do or die play for Echeverria. Didn't really have a chance. David Wright still runs well. When you try to throw a ball that way, it's hard to get the good grip, and just didn't get it there in time. But always a good effort from Etch.
Apparently the Cardinals have stolen the Braves' signals as well. Aaron Harang has given up 4 runs in 6 innings. And St. Louis leads Atlanta 4-0. That's in Atlanta.
Bottom line, I just think Aaron Harang's coming down to his track record. An under 500 pitcher.
Harang 5 2/3 innings, 10 hits.
I was right about Jose. He had a game against the San Diego Padres last year. But it was here. I thought he pitched a good game there. But he went 8 innings, gave up 2 hits and no runs, had 10 strikeouts last year.
0-2 to Granderson. Popped him up. McGee makes the catch. Nice inning by Brad Hand. A scoreless 8th. But the Mets still up 3-0. The Mets have a 3-0 lead. Let's go down to Craig Minervini.
Hey, Rich, thank you very much. As we move along to the bottom of the 8th inning, going to talk a little bit about Brett Butler. I love talking baseball with the Marlins third base coach, a wealth of information. He had an outstanding career, lasted 17 years. He was a .290 hitter over there. He stole over 550 bases, 558. He told me that during his career, anytime he could seek out somebody who was a specialty in what he did, he would do that. For example, when Willie Mays was around, he'd go talk to him about playing center field, and Butler was a very good outfielder. Talk about hitting leadoff. Butler would seek out Pete Rose, figure out some tips on leadoff. And when you talk about bunting, Rod Carew was a master, and Brett Butler became a master, and he would seek him out. And those kind of things he's put into his head, and that's why he's such a good source for the Marlins. And you've seen Christian Yelich, who told me he never had a bunt hit at all in his whole life. He had a one sacrifice in Jupiter, but he worked all spring training with Brett Butler. And guess what? He's got, what, 3, maybe even 4 now, including, I think, 3 drag bunt hits. So that pays off when you talk to the coach at third base. Guys?
All right, thanks. Bullpen is in for the Mets. Daisuke to face Yelich. The first pitch fastball is a strike.
Well, to cap that off, what Craig was talking about, the Marlins are second in the National League in bunt hits with 6. Second to the Nationals.
Jonathan Neese, 7 shutout innings. Daisuke bounces one up. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Yelich, Lucas, Stanton for Miami in the bottom of the 8th in a game that has gone by quickly. Both starting pitchers pitched well. Evaldi, 7 innings, 10 strikeouts. But he gave up 2 solo homers. Neese, 7 innings, 6 strikeouts. Just 1 walk by each starter. And Daisuke misses away.
Both starters in the similar pitch count area. Neese threw 108, Evaldi 107. And sometimes, as we talk about often, it doesn't matter who comes into a game, it's just a different look. Matsusaka certainly gives you a different look. I remember when we were in New York, he had just recently saved a game. He's not all that crazy about working out of the bullpen, but he's done a pretty good job for the Mets in that role.
He's 2-2 on Yelich. Lucas waits. Towards the line. That's Young. It's up into the seats. The outset of the telecast, we told you that the National League East, the only division in baseball where everyone is over 500. The Marlins and the Phillies both a game over. The Mets 2 over. Nationals 3 over. Braves 4 over. Braves getting shut out 4-0 to the Cardinals. Phillies getting shut out 3-0 to the Blue Jays. Both those games, well, the Phillies game in the 7th, Atlanta in the bottom of the 6th. Nationals 2-0 over the Dodgers, delayed in the 4th. In the dirt.
Good job. Good patience by Christian Yelich.
Leadoff walk here in the 8th.
Braves try to avoid their 7th straight loss.
It happens quickly. The Marlins were the first 3, the Giants the next 3. Lucas.
That's another thing a lot of people have forgotten about, the Marlins climb to get back over 500, considering in April they had an 8-game losing streak.
Outside.
Check swing, and it's out. And Daisuke right now walked Yelich behind Lucas. Matsuzaka's been sharp lately. 1 run in his last 9 innings. It's a 6-game stretch. Picked up his first major league save in late April against St. Louis, so new territory for him. 2-0 count on Lucas.
Well, we talked about how he'll throw a little bit of everything. He'll cut the fastball, sliders, curveball. Occasionally he'll use a splitter.
Lucas, and it's 2-2. Stanton, then McKee. Mets bullpen is active. Yelich diving back in. Well, the combination of Jonathan Neese and the early home runs kind of set the tone on the night. Marlins trying to recapture some of that comeback magic they had against the Dodgers. Lucas busts his bat.
Well, the other thing, Rich, the Marlins came into this game having gone 6 straight games of scoring 5 runs or more, so the offense had really been clicking. And so far tonight, nothing. Off the end of the bat. You can break them that way too.
Nobody out. Bottom 8. It's out. Daisuke looked in, stopped and stared a bit. And he had reason to. It was looked like it just touched the knees, and it had plenty of the plate. 3-2 coming. That's in. Lucas walks. That's a big call on that 2-2 pitch. Now here comes Stanton with runners first and second. And hello to the Gecko. Geico quote of the night. If I've ever seen, I don't know. Let's start that again. I don't think is what it's supposed to say. I've ever seen a baseball hit that hard in my life on a line. It was like a 54-degree wedge that you want to keep down in the wind. That was Mike Redmond.
Yeah, the Gecko boots one once in a while. Yeah, this had a very quick exit speed.
Breaking ball misses outside. So a walk to Yelich, a walk to Lucas.
Well, back-to-back innings now. The Marlins have started the inning first and second, nobody out. They couldn't capitalize in the seventh. Got another chance here in the eighth.
Two and 0. The secondary stuff not going over for strikes, and now the fastball misses. Kyle Farnsworth, Mets closer, joins Rice, the lefty. 2-0 to Stanton. Strike one, and it's 2-1. 0 for 3 is Stanton. 2 home runs yesterday. His only hit against Daisuke, a home run. It's in, and it's 3-1.
Boy, if you're Stanton too, you say, well, he's had trouble controlling his fastball and the breaking ball. So it's a tough guess right here. It's a great hitter's count, but it'd be easier if you had a better idea of what Matsuzaka was comfortable with.
3-1.
Went fastball. It was in, but he was ready for it. And, you know, it's an aggressive 3-1 swing. Nothing wrong with that.
Does he get the fastball again? Nothing's guaranteed.
Nothing guaranteed, only because he's kind of struggled with both of them.
Wow, a bullet to center field. Yelich will score. The throw's coming at third. So is Lucas. He's in there. Stanton will hold first. It's 3-1. I mean, that ball was crushed.
Not only does he hit some of the hardest and furthest home runs, he hits some of the hardest line drives and base hits that you're ever going to see. Good job by Lucas on that hard hit ball to go first to third, and a good job by Stanton knowing that no one was at first base. He took a huge turn to see what was going to happen with the throw and who was at second base. Well, I don't know how Matsuzaka ducked in time. I don't think he ducked in time. But there's the turn. He keeps going because he knows there's nobody behind him.
Boy, 110 miles an hour off the bat, and that shows you just how vulnerable a pitcher is. I mean, it came in probably 92, 93.
92, 93.
And it went back out 110.
RBI number 37.
McGee now. Lucas at third. Stanton at first. Middle infield of the Mets. Quintanilla and Murphy looking for 2.
These are those situations Casey McGee has excelled.
Breaking ball in. McGee with runners in scoring position, 30 at bats, 12 hits. Popped it up. Right. Just runs out of room. Had it been one row in instead of 2 rows in, David Wright probably makes that catch. One again. Breaking ball. Off of Quintanilla and into left field. Wow. Lucas scores. 3-2. Matt Somar Quintanilla probably thinking about which base to go to try to get a double play.
Probably had a little too much going through his head as he was coming in on that. The ball was hit hard. Good swing by Casey McGee. May have taken his eye off of it, but clearly he had a chance for a double play. And you also wonder if he was trying to catch it and turn it or scoop it and turn it that way. But a lot of things he was thinking about, and I'm sure that's what caused him to boot the ball. Another big opportunity for the Marlins.
Saltalamacchia now against Daisuke. Stands at second. McGee's at first. Fastball misses away. Mets have 2 arms ready. The lefty Rice, the right-hander Farnsworth. But there's nobody out here in the 8th.
And all of a sudden, Steve Cishek starts to warm up in the Marlins bullpen.
Two and 0. And there is Cishek. Saltalamacchia has shown more patience from this side of the plate than the right side. And he has been hot. 4 homers his last 9 games.
Well, certainly he knows Daisuke. They were teammates. We saw him have some good ABs against Josh Beckett.
It's down. It's 3-1.
Saltalamacchia with a home run against Beckett the other night.
Jeff Baker is on deck.
What a great at bat. Patient. He knew he had to get a nice fastball in the strike zone from Matsuzaka and crushed it into right center. Out over the plate. Boy, that is exactly where Saltalamacchia likes it. Put a good swing on it. A good job by Granderson in right field to cut it off. That ball gets to the wall. McGee's able to score. Stanton scores easily, but a terrific AB by Salty.
Miami has come back to tie it. 3-3 in the 8th. coming back to South Florida after winning a world championship with the Red Sox. A lot of big hits in the last 10 days. And an RBI double to tie the game here against the Mets in the bottom of the 8th. And Kyle Farnsworth comes in. Farnsworth, who got roughed up in Colorado, he gave up the walk-off homer to Charlie Culberson in the 11-10 loss. And he arrives on the scene with the infield in, runners second and third and nobody out. Jeff Baker is at the plate. Remember, Baker's big hit yesterday came against a right-hander, Jamie Wright. That was the double that sent Puig crashing into the wall. Farnsworth pours in a strike.
The Mets have used many to close. Initially, it was Jose Valverde. We mentioned Matsuzaka has a save. Carlos Torres on the year with a save, and Farnsworth. So the Mets have used a lot of people at the back end of the bullpen.
Baker looking for contact, infield in, and it's outside. 1-1. 1 for 3 is Baker. He singled in the 7th. McGee hit the liner that Quintanilla dropped. Saltalamacchia with the double that scored Stanton.
Boy, that was a huge play in this inning. That would have been 2 outs.
Garrett Jones is on deck. Pitcher spot is on deck for Miami. In the dirt, Farnsworth burying a breaking ball.
It was such a great finish, the ball game yesterday with Jeff Baker. We really didn't get a chance to talk about how important for him to have gotten some starts and the chance that he was able to put together some base hits, get a little confidence. And so that makes this at bat even more important, and it puts him in a situation where he's confident compared to maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Baker a ground ball to second. Murphy stumbles and on a knee throws Baker out. So the Mets get an unsteady out. Jones with second and third. MLB at bat. Get the app for 2014. For all your mobile devices, you can follow the Marlins or your favorite Major League team all season long. Text at bat to 31826. Go to marlins.com. Now the Mets are going to walk Garrett Jones intentionally to pitch to Echeverria and try and get a ground ball to escape further damage. Terry Collins has seen his bullpen wobble, his defense cough up a line drive, and the Mets have been terrific defensively all year.
Yeah, we talked about that early in the game. The Mets came in the game. They committed just 15 errors on the season compared to the Marlins 26.
Stanton with an RBI single followed the 2 walks that opened the 8th. And it was Daisuke Matsuzaka who faced the first 5 hitters in this inning.
Yeah, the only team with fewer errors in the National League, Cincinnati, committed just 12.
Now the middle infield is backed up. Murphy and Quintanilla. Corners, though, are even. Wright and Duda. Bases filled with Marlins. Ball game's tied. 1 out. Bottom 8. In the dirt. Squirts away, but it goes up the line, which chases McGee back to third.
You know, the middle infielders are actually in an interesting position. They're not all the way back for 2. They're both kind of bunched and cheat a little bit, but they're semi-halfway. It's really an interesting position. Quintanilla a little deeper than Murphy.
Echeverria line to center, struck out, single. All of his at-bats against Jonathan Neese. Neese was outstanding in this ball game for the Mets. 7 shutout innings, and he deserved a better fate. McGee, Saltalamacchia, and Jones. It's like a convoy of truckers.
Well, Farnsworth is going to continue to pound Echeverria with fastballs and sliders.
Middle infield still back for 2. 1 out. Farnsworth, the 1-1. Now he's out in front of Echeverria at 1 and 2. Ozuna is on deck. Now Farnsworth has lasted a long time in this game. One-two pitch. Farnsworth is 38, out of Milton, Georgia. His 16th season in the big leagues.
Milton, Georgia, up there by Alpharetta. Roswell.
The Mets are his 8th different organization. Echeverria steps out.
See what Farnsworth does. He's come at him with a couple of good fastballs the last 2 pitches.
Mets were cruising until the Marlins got into the bullpen here in the 8th. Breaking ball away, and it's 2-2.
It's amazing. You and I talked about it, Rich, how sometimes, no matter who comes in out of the bullpen, after Jonathan Neese pitched so well, the Marlin hitters were just happy to see anybody.
They got Daisuke, who walked the first 2. Stanton, a line drive single to center. McGee hit a bullet that Quintanilla misplayed off his glove into shallow left. Saltalamacchia followed with an RBI double. Echeverria now. 2-2 coming. Right down the middle and right at the knees. Wow. Echeverria obviously not looking for that.
You know, I'm surprised because he missed so badly with the slider before. Oh, that's a perfect pitch, too. Fastball right on the knees. He missed so badly with the slider before that you're thinking you might not want to go 3-2 and try it again. So he may come with the fastball. He did, but he made a perfect pitch, too.
Well, the last 2 ball games that Miami has played, the Saturday and Sunday games against the Dodgers, there have been a lot of spots just like this, where the Marlins were down and then came roaring back and then had great opportunities on Saturday night, especially. Had the bases loaded in the 8th and the 9th, couldn't get a run across and lost that game in the 11th. And then even yesterday, the Marlins did walk off, but they had chances earlier as well. And it's Ozuna with a 1-0 pitch coming.
Yeah, we talked about 7th inning. Marlins had 1st and 2nd, nobody out.
McGee, Saltalamacchia, and Jones. It's a strike. Ozuna didn't like it.
In this situation, and he's right, it's off the plate, but we've seen this strike zone all night from the home plate umpire, Bill Miller. Nothing's changed. So with bases loaded in a tie game, you got to be ready. If it's close, you've got to hack.
1-2. That's out even further for a guy that is up there at 38. Farnsworth can still rush it up at 96 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah, he still throws hard.
Darno, the young catcher, out to talk to the veteran reliever.
Well, you know it's going to be fastball or slide.
Here it is. In the dirt, Darno blocks it.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this. He hadn't thrown a slider close. He missed badly with that. He missed with one in throwing to Echeverria and then froze him with a fastball. What do you think he's going to throw?
Fastball, but if it's close on the outside part, you better be hacking.
And you know what? If he throws a nasty slider in the strike zone, you got to tip your hat to him.
Bags loaded. Tie game. Full count. 2 outs in the 8th. Farnsworth. Ground ball right has it. Sets himself and throws Ozuna out. And Farnsworth shuts the door, but not before Miami ties the game. 3-3 after 8. For Miami until the bottom of the 8th. Jonathan Neese was terrific through 7. Nathan Eovaldi struck out 10, but the Mets got him for 2 early homers. Steve Cishek is in a tie game in the top of the 9th. The Mets, as we noted, got to Cishek up at Citi Field, ending his run of consecutive saves. He's going to face Juan Lagares, Lucas Duda, and Travis d'Arnaud.
Yeah, Lagares with that hamstring that put him on the disabled list. We did not see him in that series in New York. He was on the disabled list.
Mets series continues tomorrow. Day after Mike Redmond's birthday. Bartolo Colon, Henderson Alvarez. Redmond hoping that his birthday ends with a walk-off celebration.
Nice walk-off win for Red's birthday.
43 years old today. Cishek misses to Lagares. Marlins missed Lagares up in New York. This is a guy that had a real nice second half last year. Swings and misses at a breaking ball. 121 games last year. 21 doubles, 5 homers. An outstanding year in center field. He had 15 assists last year, second in the National League. Cishek trying to live down low.
Yeah, Lagares signed as a 16-year-old out of the Dominican. So he's 25, but he's been in the Mets organization. This is his 9th year.
He's got a 13-game hit streak, 3 for 5 yesterday. Little pop up, and Lucas is back and puts it away. 1 out.
One thing you can look ahead to and look forward to at the bottom of the 9th inning, the Marlins get back to the top of the order. So Christian Yelich, Ed Lucas, and then Giancarlo.
Well, Farnsworth came in and pitched the 8th. It's doubtful he'd come out to pitch the 9th. Gonzalez Herman for the Mets.
By the way, between Matsusaka and Farnsworth, they threw 49 pitches in that inning, at a half inning.
But you never know. Terry Collins trying to mix and match with his bullpen. The Mets losing their closer, Bobby Parnell, to Tommy John surgery. We talked about Harvey. That's a pretty big, I mean, you take away your #1 starter and your closer off of any team. And especially a team like the Mets trying to rebuild, reload, build something with young pitching especially. Here's the 2-1. Darno waits on deck. He lost him. 1 out walk. Darno and then Quintanilla.
There are times, and we heard Chuck Hernandez when we had Chuck on in the 3rd inning talking about Jose pitching around certain hitters. There are times that you're not going to be all that upset due to certainly the capability of hitting 1 out. He doesn't have a lot of speed. And now Cishek can go after the right-hander Darno, and Quintanilla doesn't have a lot of power. And another reason the bullpen might be busy for the Mets is that if it gets down to Farnsworth's spot.
Darno with a big rip. Cishek comes in, and he's out front 0-2 on the Mets' young catcher. Three ball game, 9th inning. First game of a 3-game set. It was 3-0 Mets from the 4th inning all the way to the bottom of the 8th. And that's when the Mets pulled their starter, Jonathan Neese, threw 108 pitches. Daisuke Matsuzaka came in and gave up 3 runs, 2 of them earned. walked 2, did not get an out.
Both starters outstanding. Evaldi gave up the 3 runs, but had a career high 10 strikeouts in his 7 innings. Both starters will have no decisions.
1-2. 2-2. It was out.
And it was a good take by d'Arnaud.
That one's out. And the count is full. Let's see if Lucas Duda is on the move here. And that was out as well.
They're pitches that a lot of right-handed hitters will chase. But d'Arnaud showing a lot of patience.
Duda runs. Strike 3 called. Double play. Jared Saltalamacchia throws out Duda. Strike him out, throw him out. And the Marlins go to the 9th. Twice this year they have walked off with wins. Stanton and Baker. Who's next? Ball game. Mets had a 3-0 lead. It disappeared in the bottom of the 8th. Marlins had a great opportunity to take the lead. Kyle Farnsworth came in and calmed things down. And now in the bottom of the 9th, Miami has the top of their order. A couple of changes. First, Anthony Recker comes in to catch. Recker goes into the 9th spot in the order. And Scott Rice, a lefty, is on. And Rice will face Christian Yelich right out of the chute, and he may be in there just for Yelich.
Yeah, I would think that's the only hitter he's going to face. We've seen Yelich. Yelich got a bunt single off Jonathan Neese in the 3rd inning. There's Herman. And drew a nice walk to get things started in the 8th inning off Matsuzaka. So he's done a nice job in that leadoff spot. We talked about how Yelich this year off to a good start against left-handers, over 340, and a few of those hits against lefties have been bump base hits.
Yelich has a bunt hit tonight. He was the first man to face Matsuzaka and walked in the 3-run 8th. A swing and a miss. Rice worked a 1/3 of an inning in yesterday's 5-1 win in Colorado. Torres, Rice, and Familia out of the Mets bullpen, backing up a shutout effort of 6 innings by Dylan G in the 5-1 win yesterday. 0-1 to Yelich. Marlins have 3 runs and 7 hits. The Mets 6 hits with their 3 runs, 2 errors by the Mets. Yelich ground ball, base hit, center field.
Well, again, Yelich just continues to have good at-bats and good swings against left-handed pitching. So the move backfires on Terry Collins. Yelich crosses him up with the base hit, and he'll go to the bullpen again.
So Yelich gets a hit off the lefty. Herman, the right-hander. You've got Lucas, Stanton, McGee for the Marlins, who have the winning run at first. And nobody out in the bottom of the ninth. Don't go anywhere, kids. Mets go to their bullpen. Ed Lucas is coming up, and so is Marlins Live. Jonathan Neese was unbelievable, untouchable. Jeff Conine ready to go. Got his tie. Got the socks. What do you got sporting tonight? Very nice. Very nice. Slick look. Marlins saw this right-hander, Gonzalez Herman, in New York, and hit back-to-back home runs against him. In the 8th inning of that Friday night game, it was Jared Saltalamacchia and Garrett Jones.
And remember, Saltalamacchia was into left center. Good fastball and slider, a very good changeup, too, from Herman.
Now you've got Giancarlo Stanton on deck. You've got Ed Lucas, who handles the bat well at the plate. Speed at first. We've seen Mike Redmond this year try to bunt, even with the idea that someone was going to walk Stanton because he just wanted to get a runner in scoring position and bring a couple bats up.
Yeah, we have found out a little bit. That's what Red's thinking is. We'll see if he has that thinking here with Stanton on deck. And Ed Lucas, who can do a lot of things with the bat at the plate.
Lucas has walked twice, struck out, flied out. Yelich. Herman from the stretch. He's bunting. Strong bunt. Herman stumbles and then throws to first. You could hear Recker telling Herman to go to second.
Yeah, listen in. Hey, got himself in position to field as if he were going to pick it and throw to second, but there was a little stumble. And he made the right decision by getting the out at first.
So we laid out the options, and Mike Redmond chooses to bunt. Let's see what the Mets.
Well, Collins will choose not to pitch to Stanton. I would be surprised if he does.
You've got McGee and then Saltalamacchia. And remember, Saltalamacchia homered against her men. Of course, you've got McGee, who has been one of the best hitters with runners in scoring position in baseball this year.
Yeah, Casey McGee came into the game tonight tied for 5th in the National League in that department.
Stanton on his way to first. McGee has driven in 20. He hit the searing liner that Quintanilla misplayed for an error in the 8th.
This is where Casey McGee would like to pay off that birthday present for Mike Redmond. A lot of managers don't do that, though. With Stanton, the hitter, a lot of managers will say, I feel just as good with Stanton up there and a man on first, as opposed to having a man in scoring position with Casey McGee up there.
Terrific speed at second with Yelich. Remember, you've got Lagares in center now. Granderson in right, Young in left. And McGee takes a strike. 93 miles an hour.
And remember, McGee hit that ball hard, that sinking liner that was booted by Quintanilla back in the 8th inning.
Her men ready. 0-1 pitch.
Ooh, got a little bit of a hanger.
But he's behind in the count now, 0-2. Stanton, the trail runner, not being held. McGee off of her men into right field. Here comes Yelich. Ball game. Marlins come back and walk off again.
Happy birthday, Mike Redmond.
Last year, Casey McGee was playing in Japan and playing well. The Marlins knew it. They brought him to Miami. He's had a terrific start, and he wins a game tonight against the Mets. And the incredible ride at home for the Marlins continues, a Major League best 15-5.
What a great job by Casey McGee with 2 strikes after Herman had gotten ahead quickly. He hits this ball hard off Herman's foot or ankle. It was ticketed to center field, but it changed gears and went into right field. And it all got started by Yelich's leadoff base hit. A thing of beauty.
Down 3-0 most of the night. Miami rallies for 3 in the 8th and then wins it in the 9th. The Marlins have won 6 of their last 7, and the last 2 have ended in a pile of humanity and water. Four-3. Miami wins it.